There is a silent ecosystem inside your body that weighs only a few pounds, yet it influences your energy, your mood, your metabolism, your immune system, your sleep, and even how long you live. And right now, without realizing it, millions of people are slowly damaging it every single day. Not with something dramatic, not with poison, but with habits so ordinary they feel harmless. A rushed breakfast, a late-night scroll, a daily painkiller, a constant hum of stress. These small decisions, repeated for years, quietly reshape the inner world of your gut. And once that internal balance begins to shift, the effects ripple outward into nearly every system of the body. Your gut is not just a digestive tube. It is home to trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and other microbes, that form a living ecosystem known as the microbiome. This community helps break down food, produce vitamins, regulate inflammation, train the immune system, and even communicate with the brain. The gut lining itself acts as a selective barrier, allowing nutrients to pass into the bloodstream while keeping harmful substances out. When this system functions well, metabolism runs smoothly, hormones stay more balanced, and the brain receives steady signals of satiety and calm. But when daily habits begin to erode that balance, the consequences are subtle at first. Fatigue that feels normal, bloating that feels inconvenient, sleep that feels slightly off. Over time, those signals grow louder. The first habit quietly harming the gut is chronically eating in a state of stress. The human body evolved with a survival mechanism known as the fight-or-flight response. When the brain perceives threat, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline rise. Blood flow shifts away from digestion and toward muscles. Heart rate increases. The body prepares to act. This response is life-saving in short bursts. But when meals are eaten while multitasking, arguing, driving, or scrolling through alarming news, the nervous system may remain in a mild stress state. Digestion becomes less efficient. Stomach acid and digestive enzyme production can shift. The muscles that rhythmically move food through the intestines may become dysregulated. Over time, chronic stress has been associated with changes in gut permeability and alterations in the microbiome. Research suggests that stress can reduce beneficial bacterial diversity, which is often considered a marker of gut resilience. Eating quickly while distracted may seem insignificant, but the body interprets context. A calm meal sends a very different biological signal than a hurried one. The second habit is underestimating the power of sleep. During deep sleep, the body repairs tissues, regulates hormones, and recalibrates immune function. The gut is no exception. Circadian rhythms, internal 24-hour clocks, exist not only in the brain but also in digestive organs and even in gut bacteria. When sleep becomes irregular, too short, or frequently interrupted, these rhythms can become misaligned. Evidence indicates that poor sleep may influence insulin sensitivity, appetite hormones like ghrelin and leptin, and inflammatory signaling. Emerging research also suggests that sleep disruption can alter the composition of the microbiome. When circadian patterns are repeatedly disturbed, metabolism becomes less efficient, cravings intensify, and inflammation can rise. What feels like a simple late night may be quietly shifting the chemical conversation between the gut and the brain. The third habit, the one most people repeat daily without question, is consuming a diet low in dietary fiber. Fiber is not glamorous. It is not trendy. It is not heavily marketed. Yet it is one of the most critical fuels for the gut microbiome. Humans cannot digest fiber directly, but beneficial gut bacteria can. When fiber reaches the colon, microbes ferment it into short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate, acetate, and propionate. These compounds help nourish the cells lining the colon, support anti-inflammatory pathways, and may influence insulin sensitivity and appetite regulation. Diets dominated by refined carbohydrates, ultra-processed snacks, and low plant diversity starve beneficial bacteria of their primary fuel source. Over time, microbial diversity can shrink. The gut lining may become more vulnerable. Inflammation can subtly increase. This does not happen overnight. It happens gradually, meal by meal, year after year. A pattern of low fiber intake has been associated with higher risks of metabolic disorders, cardiovascular disease, and certain gastrointestinal conditions. The absence of plants, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and seeds is not immediately dramatic, but biologically, it is significant. Another common habit eroding gut health is excessive reliance on highly processed foods. Many ultra-processed products are engineered for palatability, convenience, and long shelf life. They often contain refined sugars, unhealthy fats, and additives that, while approved for consumption, may not support optimal microbial diversity when consumed in large amounts. Diets consistently high in added sugars can promote the growth of certain bacteria while crowding out others. Rapid spikes in blood glucose require repeated surges of insulin, which over time can contribute to reduced insulin sensitivity. This metabolic strain does not remain isolated in the bloodstream. It interacts with inflammatory pathways and gut signaling systems. When blood sugar fluctuates wildly throughout the day, energy crashes follow. Cravings intensify. The cycle continues. Meanwhile, the gut ecosystem adapts to the environment it is repeatedly exposed to. Frequent unnecessary antibiotic use is another powerful disruptor. Antibiotics are life-saving medications and essential tools in modern medicine. However, they do not discriminate between harmful and beneficial bacteria. When taken appropriately under medical supervision, they treat infections effectively. But repeated or unnecessary use can significantly reduce microbial diversity. Some bacterial species may take months to recover, and in some cases may not fully return to their previous balance. Research continues to explore how early and repeated antibiotic exposure may influence long-term metabolic and immune outcomes. This does not mean antibiotics should be avoided when medically necessary. It means they are powerful interventions that reshape the internal ecosystem. Chronic sedentary behavior is another underestimated factor. The human body is designed for movement. Regular physical activity improves insulin sensitivity, enhances cardiovascular function, and supports healthy inflammatory balance. Exercise also appears to positively influence the microbiome. Studies suggest that physically active individuals often demonstrate greater microbial diversity compared to sedentary individuals. Movement increases blood flow to the intestines, supports motility, and helps regulate stress hormones. In contrast, prolonged sitting, especially when combined with poor diet and inadequate sleep, can amplify metabolic dysfunction. The gut does not function in isolation. It responds to how the entire body lives. Alcohol consumption, particularly in excess, adds another layer. The gut lining acts as a barrier, but alcohol can increase intestinal permeability when consumed frequently or in large amounts. This may allow bacterial components to pass into the bloodstream, potentially triggering inflammatory responses. The liver, which receives blood directly from the digestive tract, must process both nutrients and toxins. Chronic heavy drinking can disrupt this delicate relationship. Moderate consumption within recommended guidelines may be tolerated differently by different individuals, but consistent overuse places strain on multiple systems simultaneously. Another quiet habit is ignoring natural hunger and fullness signals. The gut communicates with the brain through hormones and nerve pathways, including the vagus nerve. When meals are skipped repeatedly, or when eating patterns swing between restriction and overeating, hormonal rhythms can become erratic. Insulin, cortisol, ghrelin, and leptin operate in a delicate balance. Irregular patterns can promote energy instability and mood fluctuations. Over time, this may contribute to weight cycling, which research suggests can negatively affect metabolic health. Low dietary diversity is equally important. Even individuals who consume adequate calories and avoid processed foods may eat the same limited set of meals repeatedly. A diverse microbiome thrives on diverse plant compounds. Polyphenols found in colorful fruits and vegetables, resistant starch in cooled potatoes and legumes, and various fibers in whole grains all feed different microbial species. When diversity in the diet narrows, diversity in the gut may follow. Greater microbial diversity has been associated with resilience against certain inflammatory and metabolic conditions, though research continues to explore these connections. Finally, chronic psychological stress may be one of the most pervasive and least visible threats. The gut and brain are in constant dialogue through what is often called the gut-brain axis. Stress can alter gut motility, secretion, and sensitivity. It can influence immune cells within the intestinal lining. It can shift microbial balance. In turn, gut bacteria produce metabolites that affect neurotransmitter pathways involved in mood and cognition. When stress becomes chronic, this bidirectional communication can amplify fatigue, anxiety, and digestive discomfort. Breaking this cycle does not require eliminating stress entirely, which is impossible. It requires building daily practices that signal safety to the nervous system. Consistent sleep, regular movement, mindful meals, meaningful social connection. Inside the arteries, small adjustments are happening in response to lifestyle. Regular exercise encourages the inner lining of blood vessels to release nitric oxide, improving flexibility and circulation. Stable blood sugar reduces oxidative stress on vessel walls. Inflammatory markers can shift based on dietary patterns. Inside the pancreas, Beta cells respond to the frequency and intensity of glucose spikes. In the brain, sleep influences the clearance of metabolic waste products through the glymphatic system. In the gut, microbial communities adapt to the nutrients they are repeatedly fed. None of these changes are dramatic in a single day. They are cumulative. Long-term health is rarely determined by one extreme event. It is shaped by daily patterns. A breakfast rich in fiber and protein may stabilize blood sugar for hours. A brisk walk after dinner can improve glucose uptake by muscles. A consistent bedtime can align hormonal rhythms. Choosing a wide variety of plant foods can feed beneficial microbes. Reducing unnecessary stress around meals can improve digestion. Moderating alcohol, using medications appropriately, and seeking medical guidance when needed support resilience rather than undermine it. Longevity is not simply about extending years. It is about preserving function. Muscle mass supports metabolic stability. Cardiovascular fitness supports oxygen delivery to every cell. Balanced hormones support mood, libido, bone health, and cognitive clarity in both men and women. A resilient gut supports immune defense and efficient nutrient absorption. Inflammation, when chronically elevated, contributes to many modern diseases, including type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and certain neurodegenerative conditions. Many of the habits that damage the gut also quietly raise inflammatory signaling throughout the body. The remarkable truth is that the body is adaptable. Microbial communities can shift in response to improved diet. Insulin sensitivity can improve with regular exercise and weight management. Sleep patterns can stabilize with consistent routines and reduced evening light exposure. Stress responses can soften with practices like deep breathing, time outdoors, and supportive relationships. Research continues to explore the limits of this adaptability, but evidence consistently indicates that small, sustained changes matter. True health is not found in extreme cleanses, miracle supplements, or rigid perfection. It is built in kitchens, on sidewalks, in bedrooms, and in moments of calm. It is shaped by what is eaten most days, how consistently the body moves, how deeply it sleeps, and how often it is allowed to recover from stress. The gut is not a separate organ system to be fixed with a single product. It is a living interface between environment and biology. Every meal is a signal. Every night of sleep is a recalibration. Every step taken is a metabolic message. The question is not whether these signals matter. It is whether they are aligned with long-term resilience or gradual decline. The habits that destroy the gut are rarely dramatic. They are quiet, repeated, and socially normalized. But the habits that protect it are equally quiet. And over decades, they define the difference between surviving and truly thriving. The future of health is not hidden in complexity. It is embedded in daily rhythm. When the gut thrives, metabolism steadies, inflammation softens, hormones balance more smoothly, and the brain operates with greater clarity. This is not instant transformation. It is biological compounding. And it begins, as it always has, with the smallest decisions made today.